morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining the session today. I would be the trainer. I am working as an architect for one of the firms based out of Bangalore. I design end-user computing infrastructures. Currently, a lot of my project is based out of Intune from past 3-4 years. Okay. Along with Intune, I also teach SCCM. I also teach application packaging based on my schedules. Okay, and this batch is intended for 7 a.m. IST, starting from, let me give you the time, not this Monday, the Monday after that. Okay, it will be starting exactly a week later. Okay, now let's talk about Intune. Okay, how is now Intune changing the landscape of managing your end user machines? Okay, now all of you have been part of SCCM. You are in this demo because the market is asking, do you guys know Intune? Okay, and so you have come here to learn about Intune so that you can be still relevant in the market. Now, for that, you should know some differences between your SCCM and Intune, right? So, what is the differences in SCCM and Intune on a project level? Okay, how do clients decide that I'm going to use SCCM for some activity, I'm going to use Intune for some activity? Okay, how do clients decide? Currently, what is happening, especially after pandemic? Okay, all of us are working from home, right? All of us working from home past 2 years in some capacity. Now, SCCM is completely an on-prem solution. Okay, they did bring a cloud solution called CMG, which is not very efficient. Okay, next you have Intune. What is it? It is a completely cloud solution. Now, both of them can work together in a architecture called co-management. Okay, now, so if you go to any interview, they will touch base on this. At least one question will come. So I'm going to talk in detail about this in the class as well. Now let's see the differences between SCCM and Intune, and let's also see how we can understand which technology to use when. Now, when it comes to SCCM, it is basically on-prem solution. Okay, it can support. It can what it can do. It can do application deployment. Now, your Intune also can do application deployment. Then this can do patch management. Your Intune also can do patch management. Now, this can do image management. And image management within Intune, we call it as Windows Autopilot. Now, what is the difference between this image management and this Windows Autopilot? Okay, understand this very clearly. Okay, image management can install the applications on bare metal machine. That is, if you get a laptop without any operating system, just on the BIOS, you can install operating system. Okay, that is a company-wide operating system. Whereas for Autopilot, you should have an OEM version of your Windows 10 or Windows 11 preloaded onto the laptop. Now you're telling Kishore, now already the operating system is inside. Why do we need an Autopilot? What will happen in the Autopilot? We will convert that OEM version of Windows 10 device into the lockdown environment image. So basically with all your company-wide policies, your company-wide applications, company-wide restrictions, all of those we will go ahead and deploy. Now, how do we achieve that? So normally on the on-prem, okay, on the on-prem we achieve using GPU, okay, or SCCM. Whereas in Autopilot we achieve that using something called as configuration profiles, okay, or we call it as Intune policy. Okay, the names are little fuzzy still. Okay, you might get confused. It's my responsibility to make sure that you have clarity during the class. So these things will help you. Now, okay, now you are seeing this can also do application deployment. This can also application deployment. But there is some limitation when it comes to Intune. You cannot deploy large packages. If you have a package of about about 8 GB, okay, it is still not compatible with that. Okay, less than 8 GB you can still deploy, but here you can even deploy, okay, packages above 8 GB. Yeah, so like this, there are few more limitations that you'll be knowing that in the class as well. Okay, these are all high level limitations that you should know. Now, okay, now when you go for an interview, they'll ask you, have you worked on Intune? You will say, yes, I've done Intune application deployment. Okay, then they will say, okay, what all challenges you have faced? So when they ask you those questions, you should have already know the workflow of your application deployment. So all of you guys know when it comes to SCCM, you know how you need to create an application model, you need to create a deployment type, you need to create uh, then a deployment for that. But in Intune, it is quite different. Okay, it's basically most of the things happen in the backend. Yes, you will create the application within Intune, but how it gets deployed, how it gets accessed by your end user machine are all happening completely on the cloud. Okay, and we will be seeing the workflows for each of the activity that we are going to do. For troubleshooting, what you need, I'm not going to show you what is available in YouTube, what is available in Udemy. Okay, you guys can go ahead and always see that. But when you attend my class, it is going to be all about what is happening under the hood, background, how the communication happens between your end user machine, between the your Intune, between your Azure Active Directory Intune, how that functionality happen, how what services are being used, what what is the workflow, what are the certificates are being used. All of those things will be represented and shown to you practically and in a pictorial format. Okay, so that you have a very pictures in your mind when you start troubleshooting in your production. That is what you have to expect from my class. And what will I share? I'll be sharing my production experience and a lot of limitations that are coming with Intune and the workarounds for those limitations. Okay, now you when you try to do an application deployment within your SCCM, okay, the application will download to cache and it will stay there. But if you try to do an application deployment using Intune, the application will get downloaded, but it will get deleted immediately after installation. I will show that to you practically. Okay. Now, this is about your ACCM and Intune difference. Now, what are the models in which your machines will connect to your Intune? Okay. There are two types of models. Okay. The first one is there's something called as Azure AD join and hybrid AD join. Now, what is this Azure AD join? This is cloud only solution. Hybrid AD join is on-prem AD plus cloud. Now, when do we use this particular model and when do we use this particular model? We call it as join type, okay, within your Azure. Now, when do we use that? Most of the time we use hybrid AD join when you have some applications that your client currently your client is still using some applications which requires Kerberos authentication. Like you log into the application, it has to authenticate with your on-prem AD. At that scenario, we use hybrid AD join. When do we use Azure AD join? Completely, you want to move completely from on-prem to cloud. You don't have anything to do with your on-prem Active Directory. At that point in time, we use Azure Active Directory join. Now, how does this model work? First, let me explain. Okay, the Azure Ready join. Okay, imagine this is your end user machine. Okay, and let me call this as client one. Okay, now, and this is your Azure Active Directory. Okay, then now what happened? Your client one will get registered to your Azure Active Directory. How it will get registered? Okay, using your company username and password. As I give company username and password, okay, which is provided by your Azure Active Directory. Yes, nice enter. You can connect it to your Azure AD. Now, because client one. Now, after it's given to the client one, then from here, okay, your Intune is a feature that is enabled. So here, what we will do, we will enable your Intune feature within your Azure Active Directory. Now what will happen? Your Intune feature is enabled and it will get synced. When it gets synced with your Azure AD, your client one will come here. After this is done, your client will be able to manage your Intune will be able to manage your client machine. So when I say manage, it can do application deployment, it can do patch management, it can do autopilot. This is your Azure AD. Now, how does your hybrid edition look? How does it your hybrid edition look? We'll be looking really more in tech details about it in the class. Okay. Now, how does your hybrid edition look? So, same way. Okay. You will still have your client machine, which is already talking to your on-prem AD. You have your on-prem AD, say lab.com. Okay. Then the client one will be talking to this lab.com. Now, what will happen here is from here, you then your company will say, I've decided to go to cloud. Okay, then what it will do, your company will initiate a cloud infra. Okay, they will install an Azure AD. Okay, they will go ahead. Now Azure AD is there. They will establish a sync between your on-premise AD and your Azure AD. When that sync is established, when that sync is established, then your client one will create this object will get created within your Azure AD. Okay. Now what happens? You have already created one client one here. Okay. Basically, this will get migrated here or it will get synced here, and then you'll have your Intune feature. Same scenario will repeat. Okay. Then you will have your client one that come to your Intune. Okay, enrollment will happen. It's called enrollment here. Whatever you say discovery methods in your SCCM, it's called enrollment here. Then your client one will come here, okay, onto your Intune. And from here, what will happen is you will be able to manage your client one. Now you can ask me a question. Sure, where is SCCM here? So your SCCM is here. Okay, at this point in time, what we can do is we do co-management where your SCCM will also be connected to your lab.com domain and it will still be able to manage your client one. Whereas when we configure co-management, we will just decide which feature has to be managed by Intune, which feature has to be managed by SCCM. We call that as workload. I'm going to talk about that for interview purpose as well. Okay. Yes. Now, clear with this, guys? Clear about the concept of, these are the most major designs that are used within your current production environments. Okay, now, okay, since you're clear with this, next what we will do. Okay, here we have basically seen the differences between these two. Now, how does it look? How does the machine look within your Intune console? So this is your Intune console where it says endpoint.microsoft.com. Okay, you have got endpoint.microsoft.com where you can see all the devices that is part of your organization here. And I was talking to you about Azure AD Join, right? Now, where can you see that? Okay, if you go to your Active Directory, these are the devices in your Intune, say personal and corporate devices. But I'll show you about the Azure Active Directory. Okay, we'll be touch basing Active Directory here and there to do some activities. And you need not be an expert in that. If you go to Azure Active Directory, go to devices. Here you will be seeing the joins which I just spoke about. Okay, the design, the background requires for here you can see Azure AD joined, Azure AD registered. Okay, like this for some devices you will see as hybrid Azure AD joined as well. Okay, now these devices which are with certain tools, it's getting available within your Intune. Okay, now clear guys, all of you are clear? It's whatever I spoken till now. Any questions you have? Any questions, guys?
No,
Can I
clear.
upload? Yeah. Okay. Now, this is
Hello.
a simplistic. Yes. Yes, Anthony. Go
I
ahead.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to know how to make this full screen in Go meeting.
Come again.
Full screen. I wanted to make this screen as a full screen in my laptop, but it says
Uh, okay. I mean, you should have closed that GoToMeetings things, and I'm not quite. I use Zoom a lot, so this GoToMeeting is kind of new to me as well. There's an option for you to basically close it on top. Okay, to close all the users, whoever is logged in, so you can do that. See, find out. But anyhow, the recording will be shared. Don't worry about it. Recording will be shared. A clear-cut recording will be shared with you guys. Okay.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now let's talk about application deployment using your Intune. Okay. Now let's say what is happening during the application deployment, because I can show that very practically. Let me switch on my virtual machine. Okay, you can see my virtual machine here. Okay, this machine is basically connected to my Intune tenant, okay, which says Intune course 02, that is my Intune tenant. Now, if I go ahead and if I open my company portal, I open my company portal. I've just given 4 GB RAM, guys, so please bear with me. And I want to extend for 6 GB. I'll do it later. Yeah. Once the company portal opens up, we can actually see. In the meantime, what we can do is we can go to the apps. Here, if you see, we have deployed few applications for our end user machine. You deployed few applications for our end user machine. Okay, now some of them are, if you see here, you have Windows apps, some are Windows Store for Business, some are Windows MSI line of business apps. Now, how they work together? Okay, what are the differences between these? Okay, we'll discuss about that. So there are some extensions, okay, when it comes to Windows line of business. So when it comes to Windows, you can only deploy MSIs. Okay, when it comes to line of business apps. When it comes to Win32 apps, basically you can deploy any scripts. Okay, in what we call it as dot Intune Win format. What format? Dot Intune Win format. Got it? So what is this Intune Win format? Okay, for deploying any Win32 application. For deploying any Win32 application, okay, we can use any script deployments and convert that into Intune. It's a freeware tool. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So once your machine is, once your app is converted into Intune Win, only then you will be able to load that, okay, onto your Intune portal. Okay, so what we will do now, we have actually loaded, okay, 7-zip application, okay, as an Intune Win. You will be able to see that here. Okay, and we have given the command lines for it, and you will be doing this practically in the class, guys. Okay, now, and it is being deployed to a specific group. Okay, it is being deployed to a specific group. Now, when you say deploy to a specific group, what will happen is it's basically your collection that it is being deployed to. Let me go ahead and show the deployment as well. Okay, after it is deployed onto your end user machine, how does it look? But one thing, let me reboot this machine once.
I have one quick question.
Please go ahead.
So if we have some internal applications that are developed by within our team,
Mhm.
and if we need to run batch scripts, can we deploy it through Win32?
Yeah, why not? We can deploy it, but you have to deploy it as Win32 app.
Okay.
What app? Win32 app.
Yeah,
You getting
even
my
batch
point?
script. Yeah, got it.
Batch scripts also. You cannot deploy VB. Okay, because VB script you cannot directly give the command. For VB, what we can do is we can convert that into uh, BAT or into a PowerShell, and then you can do it. When I say convert, as in you can call the VB directly in your BAT or directly in your PowerShell. You getting my point?
Got it.
Yes.
So like the same
Any
as
questions
in
like this?
SCCM, we give
Uh-huh.
the package source, right? So is it the
Yes.
same way that we are giving here?
No, no, here you will upload. You're not giving the source. There's no on-premise,
Mhm.
right? So what happen? Any file you're actually uploading. Whatever 7-zip you're seeing is it's uploaded onto the cloud onto your tenant.
Okay,
Okay, it is not. You don't have a share location as such here. If you delete here, it will
okay.
get deleted from that particular location.
So we need to upload both the batch file and VB script.
You have to basically you will compress that into a single file. Let me show you the file. Okay, give
Okay,
me a minute.
got it.
Let me show you the file. Let me show you the file. There are a lot of limitations as such in what we can do, but still we can discuss about all those. So if you see here, so this is for my ongoing class, okay? So this is the Google Chrome application that we created. Okay, now after creating this Google Chrome application, this is the file that we actually upload. You look at the size 53 MB. This is the actual file that we upload. You got it? And that's what you can see here.
Got
When you
it.
come to apps, this is the file that we have uploaded. Okay, Chrome, yeah, this one. Got the idea?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yes. Now, till the machine, actually my machine seems to be having an update. Okay. Now, when this is having an update, let me go out and explain you the Intune console. Okay, how does this console look? Okay. First thing is you have your devices here. So when it comes to Windows, okay, we'll mostly concentrating on Windows. Here you can see all the devices that is coming from your Azure, and you can see the device names. When I click on the device name, say like this, okay, you can see what device name, who is the primary user, who was enrolled, it, is this device compliant or not, what model of the device, all of this information can be seen, and also what are the actions that has been taken, okay, remotely on this device also can be seen. You can restart the device remotely. You can actually reset the device or wipe the device. Make sure the end user, it's basically like reformatting your device. Okay, whatever you do a reformat or reset, right? We can do all of that remotely from this particular console. You don't have these options in SCCM. You don't have these options in SCCM. Or you cannot do a reset directly from your console. Agree? All of you? Right? And
Yes.
similarly, what you can do is you can also get to understand the hardware configuration, but this option is there in SCCM. Okay, it's called Resource Explorer. Okay, then you can see any apps that are part of this particular machine. You can see that many apps are discovered. Okay, if you have a BitLocker enabled, you can see the recovery keys. Like this, you can explore a lot of things. Okay, within your Intune. Now let's come to the apps. So what are these apps? As I said, there are two kinds of apps: your LOB apps and your um, with the apps. So these are the two methods in which we normally deploy onto the Intune. We'll be seeing different, and their engine is different, their working is different. Okay, it is not common. So it is just the way they work, the way you see the logs are completely different for both your LOB and your uh, Win32. Okay, next. What happens? Okay, now you've got your apps. Your app is being given to the some personal device of your end user. When you are removing that particular device from Intune, you can only delete the corporate related application data. Okay, you can just only delete corporate related application data. Got it? And that kind of a segregated deletion is available. Okay, so now when you say that kind of segregation, it's a big power, right? You can basically, so end user can enroll any device. They can use their corporate resources, and when they leave, all the corporate data is deleted from that particular device, right? But it will not touch their personal devices, personal data. So like this, you have to configure something called as app protection policies and all those things, or app configuration policy, which I'm going to teach you. Okay, which will help you to secure your Intune. Okay, next. One of the things which I don't like in Intune as of now is it does not have very easy report management like we have in our SCCM. Okay, I hope maybe next 2 to 3 years they will get it. Before it, we did not even have this. And one of the things is you will be able to connect to Power BI from here. From there, you can fetch the reports. I'm going to show you how to do a Power BI integration and all those things. And next thing is users. Okay, So you will basically have, whenever you create a user, the mandatory thing is you have to always give what to say, location for the user. Okay, only if you give location for the user, you will be able to assign license. Okay, so these are my current ongoing class. Okay, where we have certain users and the licenses have been assigned to them, and you can reset their password remotely here as well. Okay, yes. Then you have something called as groups. The groups is nothing but your collections. Okay, the same way how you create query-based collections, your direct membership collection, those things can be done. Your include collection, those activities can be done here as well. You getting the point, guys? Yeah. Hello, guys. Be interactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, some of you guys are here for something called as an autopilot, right? Now, when it comes to autopilot, okay, there are a lot of limitations if you are trying to achieve an apple to apple comparison for SCCM task sequence and MDT and your Windows 10 Autopilot. Okay, because your Autopilot is completely a cloud-based solution, and if you're trying to integrate your Autopilot and hybrid Azure Ready Join or along with SCCM deployments, then there is a huge number of challenges. Okay, I'm going to talk about most of those challenges, the limitations that you can do, because I have almost till today executed around 26 autopilot projects approximately. Okay, I'll talk about all of those, the loopholes that we saw, how many have been resolved from past 3-4 years. Okay, so that you will understand, how you can navigate those issues when you implement your Windows 10 autopilot projects. Autopilot is pretty easy at the same time based on the environment. It's complex because if you are using hybrid Azure Ready Join, then because you are inheriting your legacy Active Directory, which was there from past 20-30 years, and if you're trying to make some modern technology to work with the legacy technology, obviously there are a lot of challenges. Okay, and the challenges even still Microsoft has not given solutions to. So you should be able to stick to your stand and stick to your foot and say, hey, this will not work here. So let's try another approach because you're having a legacy Active Directory. Like this, there are so many things that we will touch upon. Okay, when we check out in the class. Okay, got it. Now, those of you working on Intune or looking to Intune, you have any more questions which I would answer before I go to the app deployment? Any expectations from the course as well, you can ask me.
So I have a question about the applications, Kishore. So when we implement CMG, is that gonna like that way? If you do like applications if you package applications on SCCM, is that gonna help us to get that on Intune as well because of the CMG, or is there
CMG has nothing to do with your Intune.
Oh, okay.
CMG is an isolated feature from your Intune. Okay, if you want to deploy an application for a machine that is not connected to your VPN over the internet, at that time you will use CMG. Intune has also basically does the same, but this is a completely a cloud solution. Okay, now in case you're using Autopilot and you're using SCCM with CMG, and if your application deployment workload is with your SCCM, then CMG will also help, but it has nothing to do with your Intune. It's completely a isolated feature, works only with your SCCM. Got it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I will also remove all the myths that you have got, all the confusions that you have got during the class, and also you can still ask me any questions you have, any doubts that is coming to your mind, you can still ask me. Okay, now I have deployed a notepad plus application here, right? Now what we will do, let me show you the deployment of this application. Okay, now I've already staged this. If I want to go ahead and click on install, okay, you can see this deployment, okay, uh, going through a workflow. Let me just open that particular log folders, I mean the other particular folders where you can see the deployment. Give me a minute. Now we go to my, yes, here see program files x86. Content. Now what will happen if I click on install? Okay, there will be first this particular file will get downloaded here into a .bin format. After that, what will happen? Okay, it will go into IME cache. Let me give you, okay, there is one more folder. Let me open that. So there are about 32 steps. I'm just going to show you one or two steps today. Okay. Now, if I click on install now, okay. Before I do that, let me also open up a CM trace. Okay, so that you guys can see it in the log file as well. So log file is located in this location. Let me open that. 1 minute. Percentage program data, percentage MicroSoft Intune management extension, logs. This is the one. So let's first install this and see. Okay, then we'll go to the Intune management log. I've initiated the install. You can see the app coming here, then it comes here. Okay, just give it a time. It's going to be a boring time to see this, but in time you can ask any questions. And those of you who not shared your phone numbers, please add your phone numbers here in the chat. Any questions, guys? Let's keep it interactive. I'm showing you the workflow here. In the meantime, you can ask me any questions. Guys, come on, ask me if you have any questions. So in the meantime, let me open the CM trace. So once I just see so that I can see the deployment in CM trace. So your device is syncing and will begin downloading your app shortly. So I can also help it to sync quickly. So I can go to settings and do that.
So Kishore,
Yeah.
if you're doing apps, so let's say if you're moving with Intune and deploying apps for a site that has a DP, is it going to make a big difference with the deployment? Is it going to take so much time with the bandwidth and all things that's coming from?
Okay. Now, let me understand your question. If you're telling me that is there going to be any bandwidth issues while deploying big apps? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah. I mean, if it's an on-prem situation, then like let's say from SCCM, we get right away from distribution point, right? So
It will
there's
definitely create a problem. Okay, say imagine you have a WAN link of about 10 MB and you start a deployment at morning 9 a.m. and when people come and start logging in, they will start getting slowness within their internet. So what you have to do is there is an option called rate limit within your SCCM. If you set that rate limit, okay, you can set it up to 80% after office hours and 20% during office hours. When you set that, it will basically deploy the app, but it will only use say 20% of the entire bandwidth. That is, if you have 10 MB as your entire bandwidth for that particular location, only 2 MB will get used. Still your deployment is achieved, but slowly, okay. But your users are not affected. So you have to configure your SCCM DBs based on the WAN link that is available for each location. So when it comes to designing, so all this thing has to be decided during the designing part.
okay.
You're getting my
Yeah, I do.
Let me sync the thing from the backend as well. Let me go to all server devices, Windows. Okay, I think this is my new device. sync. So this should help us to speed up the process. Any other questions? Guys, you can ask me anything related to end user computing, not only Intune. I am an complete end user computing architect. So you can ask me anything. So there's no limitations. Even during the class, there's no limitations. Go ahead, guys. You can ask. Now, on one more thing is, if you see now when it comes to job opportunities, if you just look at browse for Intune jobs, okay, you can see there are so many jobs that is getting posted every day. So if any, even for a packaging requirement these days, they're asking, do you know Intune? And how it's working is, if a guy knows packaging and Intune, if a guy knows SCCM and Intune, he's given the preference. If a guy knows packaging and SCCM, and another guy knows packaging and Intune, a guy with Intune skill set is given the preference, because companies have a lot of people with SCCM knowledge. They have very, very less people with Intune knowledge. You getting the point? And the Intune interviews also will not be so difficult at this point in time, but later stages, after a year or two, it might start becoming difficult, because a lot of people will know, a lot of people would have already experienced about Intune. Okay, and at that point in time, it might get difficult. So people who are starting early, they have this early starters advantage. Okay, so that is one of the things which I have observed.
What are the packages range in that we can get in?
What do you mean by packages? Resume size?
No,
Size?
I mean regarding the job.
Oh, in India, right now the job market is too good. I have seen 3 years guys getting about 12, 13 lakhs. I myself have given that offers. So at that time, it's also about how, because he had the Intune knowledge along with the packaging knowledge. At that point in time, that project required that exact skill set. So if you are about 3 years, today's the packages are going from 10 to 15 lakhs. If you're about 5 years, it's going about 12 to 17 lakhs. If you're 10 years, then 10 years, I know people have got about 40 lakhs as well for 10 years experience. In Indian rupees, okay. But if you're talking about this ideal top 3 companies like, like Wipro, Infosys, or what is other, Accenture, these consulting firms, they don't give much. So if I'm talking about generically, other than these 3, where people don't have this Excel sheet methodologies to determine the salary practices completely based on skills, and those kind of companies actually give. But these companies have an Excel sheet for this experience only so much, irrespective of your skill set, they'll only pay so much. So it's about how you negotiate there as well. Unfortunately, this machine I have actually built it yesterday night, so it's taking a lot of time to sync and showcase. But ideally, what will happen is, Notepad++ will get downloaded here as a .bin format. Then it will get installed from here, your MSI. That will get deleted from here. It also get deleted from here parallelly, and you would have seen your Notepad++. One of the disadvantages of having This kind of a deployment is in case you want to do a repair later, you don't have the source file. So what they do in the production is to do a deployment, we actually copy it to a temp file, and from the temp file we basically deploy it to have the same effect as your SCCM cache. So all of those actually handled in the script section. Yes. Any questions you guys have? I think this might take a long time, but yeah. In the meantime, any questions you have? And one more thing, guys. The class will be basically there will be a WhatsApp group for all of you guys who enroll. In the WhatsApp group, you can always discuss with me about issues when you are having when you are doing practicals on your own. And also, even after the class is over, you can always reach out to me over the WhatsApp or through the phone call to clear your doubts on the later stages, or to just to have a double confirmations with me, or to ask some doubts even after the class is over, because you'll have my number with you. So, so our relationship does not end with the class. Okay, that is one thing. And all the recordings after the class is over, all the recordings will be shared with you, so that you can use the recordings to review and be up to date in case you miss the class as well, or for the future references. So these are the things that we will provide once the class is done. And also I'll be sharing all the notes that we come up with in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, any questions on this, guys? Shivaram or Saket or Mahesh. For those of you not dropped your phone numbers, please drop them in the chat. Guys,
In that case, if you know packaging, so it will be helpful for in both the cases, Intune and the SSM, right?
if you know packaging, then you are in the right place. A lot of people don't know, people who know packaging don't know SCCM or Intune, but if you know packaging, you can learn these two very easily, because you're not dependent on others for the what I would say, for the scripting requirements. You can do your own scripts.
Okay.
That is one of the biggest advantages of knowing packaging. Next, any other questions, guys?
Do you give me any physical material?
No, all are virtual materials only. There are no physical materials. What material are you looking for? I'll give you all my notes.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else you guys are looking for? Or any questions you have? And all the for the lab, for each one of you, I will be providing the user accounts and passwords for each one of you separately. We'll create a separate lab tenant, okay? And I'll also give you the virtual machine. For virtual machine, I'll give you the ISOs and everything. All that you need to do is just build one Windows 10 machine in your personal laptop, so that you can deploy your work, you can deploy your apps, or you can do all the practicals on your own machine. Okay, and you'll be managing that particular machine using Intune. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Got it?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll try to replicate as much of production-based scenarios as possible. And whenever there is a CCM that is coming in, I'll try to show you, how the workflow happens. Okay, how you can decide what are the things that you have to look out for. Basically, as soon as you see the console after the class, you will have an idea where the problem is, how to troubleshoot it. Okay, that kind of a workflow methodology is what my class is based on, and this is something that is not available in the Udemy or YouTube. That's what you're paying for. Okay, so that you know there's value there for your investment on learning this particular technology. Yes. And you will be learning everything that is required for you to become an Intune administrator. Say, I'll also be including some PowerShell app deployment toolkit. It is not part of your syllabus which I've shared, but from off late, what I have observed is on the production level, you should have a knowledge about at least one scripting tool. Okay, that will help you to deploy apps, and also we will be looking at certain integrations with the other technologies like your Power BI, so that you can build some nice reports. Okay, which really help you in making your managers happy. Yeah. Any other questions? Guys, any other questions that you want me to explain about, or anything, any doubts you have? I'm okay to clear that. Okay, I think this thing is going to take a long time. So anyhow, we'll be doing this in the class in a very detailed format. Okay, on your own machines as well. I'll also give you all the 32 steps that we're going to follow. So this is going to take some time because my machine is kind of slow today. But yeah, so if nothing is there, I think I can close the demo. And if you have any questions or still you want to talk to me, you can reach out to Lara guys, and they can set up a conference with me if you still have any more doubts. Okay, the numbers that you have shared, I'll share it with the institute, and they'll call you if you're interested. They're interested. If you're not interested, tell that you're not interested. Okay, so they don't call you back. Okay, is it okay? Is it good for me to end the session now?
Yeah.
Yes, Kishore.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your class.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Chris.